Hello, Mishpacha, it's Courtney, America's Jewish mother, and today I'm back with a double tag Tuesday video. So I was tagged in the 10 Booktuber Personalities Tag and also the Supermarket Shopping Tag by Scott and Nell of Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. So thank you, Scott and Nell, for tagging me in these. So I'm going to do first the 10 Booktuber Personalities Tag, and then I'm going to do the Supermarket Shopping Tag. The originator of the 10 Booktuber Personalities Tag is the Book Traveler. I will link his version of this down below. I'll also link Scott and Nell's version of this tag down below. And the originator of the Supermarket Shopping Tag was Jason at Byways in Bookland. I will link his version of this tag down below, and I'll also link Scott and Nell's version of this tag down below. So I have to get through these relatively quickly because I have something cooking on the stove. So I'm not going to give you a lot of commentary about people that I mention in the 10 Booktuber Personalities Tag. I'm just going to say that you should check out all of these people's channels if you are unfamiliar with them. And if you like the content you see, you should subscribe to them. So question 1, which booktuber underrates themselves? So I slightly reinterpreted this question to mean which booktuber underrates how much you want them to put out more regular content. So for this one, I picked Susan at Susan is Reading because she used to post more often and now only posts sporadically. And I also picked Sandra at Pull Down the Moon, who recently went on a 3-month or so hiatus from BookTube to focus on her dissertation. But she's back now, so that was exciting. Question 2, which booktuber doesn't take themselves too seriously? I picked Sean the Bookmaniac and Kim at Middle of the Book March. Question 3, which booktuber has an understated delivery? Paula at Draw Your Book and Conrad at Swordspeak. Question 4, which booktuber has a quirky rambling style? Una and Crypto at the Codex Cantina, because they have the same sort of banter that Scott and Nell themselves have. And also Greg of Supposedly Fun. Question 5, which booktuber reads highbrow literature? Lukash at A Cruel Reader's Thesis and Alba at Seriella. Question 6, which booktuber has a quiet demeanor? Melissa at Fully Booked and Ange with an E. Question 7, which booktuber has intelligence and depth? Lindsay at Lindsay's Book Life and Jenny at What's Bookin'. Also, special shout out for Jenny because she just recently released a video of a bunch of recommendations for if you want to learn about climate change, and she organized them based on what level of knowledge you're at in your study of climate change, and also talked about, you know, which ones were academic and which ones weren't, etc., etc. So if you're looking for climate change reading for your nonfiction November TBR, I highly recommend checking out that video. Question 8. Which booktuber is warm and friendly? Gemma at Read a Book Gem and Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading. Question 9. Which booktuber is self-deprecating? Doris at Aldi Books. By the way, every time I wear this B shirt, I now think of Doris. And Brian at Bookish. Question 10. Which booktuber has a quiet, measured delivery? Hannah at Hannah's Books and Cousin at Always Doing. And then I actually added a couple of bonus questions at the end. So the first bonus question I added was shout out a small booktube channel that has under 100 subscribers, T in Lit and Duncan McCurdy. And then the second bonus question I added was shout out another favorite booktuber that you haven't already mentioned, Britta Bowler and Heidi at My Reading Life. So this has been the 10 Booktuber Personalities Tag. As I said, you should 100% check out all of these people's channels, and if you like what you see, you should like and or subscribe. So moving on to the Supermarket Shopping Tag. Number 1, list. Before going book shopping, including virtually, do you have a list? Sometimes, but not always, and usually, if anything, it's a mental list rather than an actual pen on paper list. Number 2, fruit and veg. Good for the body and mind. Recommend a book you felt improved your physical/mental health. So I don't really know that I've read a book that's literally improved my physical health, but certainly I've read some that have improved my mental health, including The Book of Joy, which is mainly by Douglas Abrams, but it follows this sort of several day meeting of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and it's just a really good book. Even though neither of those men are leaders of my personal religious tradition, I still felt like I got a lot out of the book, and I definitely feel like it made me sort of approach things immediately after with like much more generosity of spirit. So I think that's good, and definitely I think it's a book that would benefit from a future rereading at some point. Number 3, tinned goods. So regardless of the label on the can, the contents are all too often bland. What is your tin can genre? So for me, this is historical fiction. I feel like historical fiction is fine if you just want like a light palate cleansing read, but those novels don't often tend to give anything substantive. And a good example of this for me would be Amor Towles' A Gentleman in Moscow, which I read back in March or April, and it's good. It's really good historical fiction. I found it quite charming. I even gave it 4 stars, but it's not really doing anything new. It's not sort of like teaching you a lot about anything. It's not bringing attention to some important issue. It's also, it's well written, but it's also not doing anything, particularly new or interesting in terms of its writing style either. So anyway, it's good, but again, historical fiction I feel like doesn't tend to give you anything substantive. Okay. Number 4, meat or fish counter, prepared by a skilled butcher or fishmonger, just how you want it. Tell us about a book you felt was written just for you. Angels in America, my favorite book of all time. It's gay, it's campy, it's Jewish, it's political. The only way it could be even better is if it involved Meryl Streep. And oh wait, the 2-part HBO miniseries has Meryl Streep playing several different roles. Therefore, Angels in America is perfect. Number 5, baked goods. Bread is a staple for many around the world. Who is an author you can easily digest at any time of the day? I picked Ha Jin for this question, who is a Chinese-American writer. I really like and admire his work, especially his short stories. I've only read, I think, 2 of his novels, but I've read 3 of his 4 short story collections, and I think he's a much stronger short story writer than novelist, but I really like his work, and I think it's very easy to digest. His writing is clear, and it doesn't have a lot of rhetorical flourishes or anything like that, but he always kind of gets the job done, and especially in reading short stories, I never, when I got to the end of a Ha Jin short story, wondered, well, what was even the point of that? Like, it's always like, yes, this is an excellent, well-crafted short story. So that is a talent. Number 5, chilled section. Recommend a cool new author or book you recently discovered. So I talked about this not very long ago on my channel. Eddie Escalade Jr.'s Begin Again, James Baldwin's America and Its Urgent Lessons for Our Own. This came out earlier this year, and I thought it was really good, and I recommend it, especially if you want to learn more about James Baldwin or how we got to the state we are in the USA. 7, frozen section. Tell us about a book that gave you the shivers. So I picked for this one Heinrich Ibsen's play Hedda Gabler. I read this back in, I want to say March. And it was quite disturbing to me, and even now, if I think about it, I'm still kind of troubled about it. So I think that definitely means it merits a reread in the future, although it's not going to be this year. Number 8, beers, wines, and spirits. Name one of the first books you read that made you feel like an adult. So in my junior year of high school, I read both John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath and Thomas Hardy's Tess of the D'Urbervilles. And I think that was really the first time, it wasn't the first time in my, education I've been exposed to quote-unquote great literature, but it was the first time I really sort of felt like I had an understanding and appreciation of it, so I picked those 2 books. Number 9, sweets and candy. What genre or author is your indulgence when you need a little treat read? I picked Daniel Silva's Gabriella Long spy thriller series, or an Agatha Christie cozy mystery. Either one of those does the job for me. Number 10, magazine stand. If you read magazines or journals regularly, share some titles with us. So really the only things I read regularly are the Chronicle of Higher Education and the Washington Post. So if those count, there you go. Occasionally I'll read an online article from The Atlantic or The Economist, but I don't read those regularly because they're expensive. And 11, checkout. Tag some shoppers on their way in. All right, so I'm going to tag Jen at Remembered Reads, Heidi at Heidi's Bookish Adventures, and I hope I will say this right, Sohafaso at A Time to Share Books. So if y'all want to do this tag, please feel free to do so, but no pressure. And also for the 10 Booktuber Personalities tag, if I mentioned you in that tag and you want to do this tag, you're tagged. Also, if I didn't mention you and you want to do either of these tags, you're also tagged. So again, this has been the 10 Booktuber Personalities tag and the Supermarket Shopping tag, so thank you for watching this. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're all still staying healthy and well. I hope you're doing good reading, whatever you're reading. And until next time, would it kill you to call your mother?